Okay, now, correcting these problems and fixing spooking so it's not really a problem at all is really simple to fix. Forward. I know all the dressage riders say it, I know everybody says it all the time, and there is a reason for that, because they're right. Okay? You have to get your horse to go forward. But before we do that, I'm just going to check my controls. Now, one of the most important turns, which I teach every horse, particularly as babies, is this turn. Bend and go. Okay? If I pull that rein, bend and go somewhere. Okay, if you cannot do that with your horse, I would get off, because they're not safe. Okay, if your horse can't follow direction like that, then you could be in trouble. The reason this turn is so good is A, when I do this turn, if I keep this turn, watch where Stanley's head goes. So I turn, it's obviously bent, but what happened just then? Did everyone see what happened to his head? It started this high, and it went down lower. Did everyone see that? Okay, watch again. Okay, so I'm going to do this turn. If it was up high, okay, I turn, his head's come up, then straight away it dropped down, and there it is. Okay? So that is probably the simplest way to get your horse to lower their head. Why is this important? Because a horse with a head like an ostrich is ready to run like an ostrich. Okay? A horse with a head low is going to be nice and quiet. Okay? They're more submissive. They're going to be able to cope with life much better. Horses with their head up release adrenaline. Horses with their heads down don't. Okay? For me, it's a no-brainer. So that turn does that. But one of the big problems with spooky horses, and I hate to say this, is sometimes the riders. Okay, sometimes it is, unfortunately. And the reason is, and I don't blame anyone for this, because it's an instinct. It's a built-in survival instinct that we all have. When something goes wrong, this is what happens. Okay? Now what you've done there is you've tightened up on your horse and you've pulled your horse with both reins. Now what happens to my horse's head when I pull with both reins like that? What happens? Head up, braces, we get all those bad things happening. Okay? And secondly, I'm standing on my tiptoes. When I go up, I stand on my tiptoes. If you're standing on your tiptoes, you're going to be much less balanced. You're going to be more susceptible to that out the front door maneuver. Okay? So I'll just show you, if I'm riding along and I see a spook, I'll show you a very good position to be riding in. It looks a bit cowboyish, but trust me, it works. I ride a lot of young horses and it works for me. Okay? Jump in this position here. Okay? Sit low, heavy on your horse and arms forward. Okay? This allows you to be able to steer, okay, with a great degree of power, because I'm using my core muscle group. When I sit low like this, these muscles all come into play. If I sit up tall, then I'm using my upper body strength. And I don't know what you guys think, but I haven't been to the gym for a fair while. Okay, I'm lacking in that department, so I need to use my core. I need to use everything I've got. Okay, and also, if you're using your upper body strength to control your horse, you're going to, again, become top-heavy. And we all know what happens to things that are top-heavy. So there's a really good tip for your riding position. If you see something that's a bit scary, don't go, oh, crikeys, oh, my goodness. Sit up tall and grab hold of your horse. Sit back, down low, and be prepared. I call this a sort of a driving seat. Get ready to drive your horse. Steer your horse. Oh, sorry, I thought that was for me. Attention, please. Okay, so we've discovered that's our turn. Now, I just want to check that turn in a trot. Okay, so can I direct Stanley just with one rein? Can I say, Stanley, there's a problem. I need you to change direction. Now, there was a little problem there. He flicked his nose a little bit. Now, it shouldn't be a problem for any horse to turn like this because it's not restrictive. All they have to do is bend through their head and neck and follow off. If they resist, then it can become a bit uncomfortable. So you need to practice this until it's pretty solid. And you can pull going pretty much any speed you want to go, maybe not at a flat gallop. You might find your horse, you might be a little bit more subtle if you're going that fast. I love this horse, isn't he nice? Crikey, I could ride this horse all day. Okay, Now, so that is one turn, okay? And that turn is going to get me out of trouble should he have that automatic spook. I can say, Stanley, look. They're a pretty good looking lot. Okay, not what you thought. Look at them. There we go. Fine. Then we can go on. It starts to get him a bit rational. Now, the next turn is much more correct. Okay, and this is where you need to be working to. That turn is a control turn. The next turn is a turn whereby we need to control our shoulders a little bit. Now, to control our shoulders, we need to be able to control all elements of our horse. We've already established we can control our head and neck with this turn here. Okay, so that needs to be practiced, so that's pretty good. Next, we need to make sure that we can control our hind end. So if I look to my horse's hind end, ride with my inside leg, that wasn't so good, that one. That was more of a dropping of the shoulder. There's a good step. Did everyone see him step right over? I need to know I can do that. So I need to practice that. Now, if he couldn't do this, I would hold him on this circle and I would ask that inside leg. The moment I felt him step over as he did then, I would release and ride forward. And pretty quickly, he's going to come to realize that when I look at his hind end and put that inside leg on, if he steps over, great. You get to walk on and get straight again. So that's very, very important to have those two controls. And once I've got those two controls, then I can start to then I can start to correct my circles. I can start to combine that first turn, and I can correct it and say, no, Stanley, look, they're not that bad. But Stanley, I'll show you how you should do it. Let's go back here and look at that hind end. Ride forward and around. Good, Stanley. Okay, don't look at that. Ride forward. And I can tell he's going to go forward because his hind end will step underneath or even out at this early stage. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. And I'll just walk through and do a couple of those correct turns and just check them. Okay, there's something else I've just noticed, which is also really important for you guys to understand. Watch his ears. Okay, and this is the time when I can start to implement these correct turns. So when I'm schooling my horse, rather than school to the letter of the test, we shall say, we'll school to what our horse feels like or looks like. So if I'm riding around here now, I'm watching Stanley's ears. They're fixed over here somewhere. So I'm going to say, Stanley, can you ride a correct turn? Good, step out. Well done. You'll see his hind end step out, riding across here. Stanley's looking, he's fixed. Stanley, just rotate round. Lowers the head, very good. And around, good. Good work. Okay, I'm watching his ears now. I'm just going to trot around. I won't do anything. He's fixed again over in this corner a little bit. Concentrate on my inside leg. On the inside, there's nothing. Okay, going along. He's fixed a little bit up here. I'm not going to wait till I get there and suffer the problem. Okay, I'm going to try and correct it before I get there by picking his ears, because his ears will tell me, there he is again, he's looked at something. Before it becomes a problem, I'm going to say, that wasn't so good, Stanley. Let's do that circle again. Okay, keep that shoulder up. That's much better. Good boy. Nice and round and forward. Perfect. Okay, so that's really good. Now we're just going to be doing this. There he is again. Fixed. Turn. How many of you, just hands up, when you go into an arena, look for a spooky object and ride up to it to show your horse about it? Probably not the best maneuver. Now, there's a reason for that. The reason is you haven't shown your horse that you're in control of the situation. What I do when I go into an arena the first time is I work where there's nothing, where my horse is most comfortable, and I get them to start thinking about me by just doing this simple exercise. Riding figures of eights and serpentines and keeping nice, round and forward. If I can do that, I'm working my horse down into a relaxed frame, because by working these serpentines, you see my horse's head starting to lower and then change, pick that shoulder up. And if I look back, hind end over a bit, Stanley. That wasn't quite good enough. Let's try again. There's a little bit of a step. Good boy. Okay. Now, who's he starting to think about now? If I've done that for 5 minutes. He's got to be concentrating on me. Horses have an ability like nothing else to focus on things. So if you go into an arena and you focus on that and your horse focuses on that, guess what? We've just started a little problem. Okay? So that is first thing. Get your horse thinking about you. Now, I'm just going to trot round here. I think we've got enough control on Stanley. He feels all right. So let's test him now. We'll see. We'll go around the outside track. Okay, we're going, oh, there's a little problem. We'll wait till he didn't react the way I thought he was going to. Okay, I'll turn and say, look, Stanley, there's an umbrella there. Okay. Now, Stanley has now stopped thinking, actually, it's not too bad here. Sitting here looking at this umbrella, I don't have to do anything. I don't mind that umbrella. Okay? I'm going to say, good, that's good, Stanley. And also gives you an idea of what I call a comfort line. I'm going to say, now, Stanley, you need to go past that umbrella. Now, there's a problem just right there. I asked him to go forward and bend and around and through, and he didn't. Do you know what I need to do? Does anyone know what I should do there? It should be in unison. Forward. Forget everything else. Go. Not for very far, but ride forward, Stanley. I said, go around that corner and go somewhere. So forget about everything else. I don't have forward. I have nothing. I'm not going to be able to control my horse. So let's go around the outside track again. Oh, there's that umbrella. Okay, let's have a look at it. It's not too bad. Okay, so you came out there with a bit of a... Everyone see that bend away from that? He's bending away from the outside track. So I'm going to say, now, Stanley, I need you to come round with a correct bend. Keep your shoulder up and go forward. Good boy. Well done. There he's looked at you guys. What's the problem over here? Okay, look. It's all right. It's cameraman. She's very good too. Okay, or camera lady. Whoops. Okay, let's go around and use our correct... Say this, that's all it is, Stanley. Relax and remember about my inside aids. Now go forward. Go forward, Stanley. Okay, good. Whoops, I'll ignore that one. It wasn't too bad. Remember, ignoring things means you're not making a problem. I ignored the last one here, and he's not so bad this time. Okay, he's dropped his shoulder there. Okay, remember, the dropping it. Did everyone see how he dropped his shoulder? When he came around that corner, he was leading with his shoulder. And if I want to correct that, I can turn with that very simple turn, one rein, come back around here, and I can say, now, Stan, I need you to go forward and around. And I'll try and keep that shoulder up, keep that hind end out. There you go, good boy. See, that wasn't so bad now, was it? And on. Okay, and we'll try that again. Go forward, Stanley. You feel like you're drifting too much. Go somewhere. Now we're going to come in. There's that shoulder. I'm going to look to my hind end. Good. Now what happens sometimes is before a horse drops their shoulder, they'll get crooked first. So controlling the hind end is a very important part of controlling the shoulder. So when I come around here, he'll get crooked and you'll see him coming around the corner like this. Okay, which is fine because that might be him wanting to face up and look at it. And if he's worried about it to that extent, then that is fine. Have a look, relax. Okay? But Stanley, I need you when we go to go not drop the shoulder. No, that's a problem. He got stuck there. He got a little bit worried, and that's a lack of forward. Go forward and around. Good boy. Well done. Now, if I think that corner is an issue, I'm going to do something here, which is something, if you think you've got a really spooky corner that you want to work on, okay? And then we'll try something else, Tom. Okay, if you've got a really spooky corner that you want to work on, then I'm just going to do some work here. Da-da-da-da-da, correct turns. Watch that. Keep your shoulder up, Stanley. Good boy. Round. Keep fixed on me. I know there's someone moving something around down there. Okay? And fix on me. Go forward. Good. Keep that hind end out. Forward and around. Good boy. Okay. Around. Forward and around. Oh, I'm losing control. Have a look. Look at what that is. It's all right. Now, at this point, I'm saying it's okay, and he wants to go and even have a look. Okay, if it's his choice, that's okay. Okay, I'm not so worried about that. I want him to be relaxed. So I might wait for his ear expression to change. Rather than his ear expression being, gosh, what's that? Maybe if he lowered his head like that and his ears softened, that might be my cue to leave, to go and do something else, because he's looked at it, registered it's all right, and he's told me by doing exactly what he's done there, then I'll go on. And I'll concentrate on my bad corner again over here. I had to fix that problem because that's what was required at the time. I'm not writing a test, I'm writing a feel. My horse felt like he was spooking from that. And judging by you guys, he looked like it as well. So I'll deal with that problem, then I'll go back to the job that I was doing. Now, if I can work Stanley around, forward, and again, with baby horses, they're a bit wobbly. Okay, Stanley's only 4 years old. Okay. Keep that shoulder up, Stanley. If I look to your hind end, can you move it? Good boy. Let's try it. Nice. Keep out. No, that was a drop of the shoulder. Can everyone see that drop of the shoulder? I'm not terribly worried about it, but I know he did it, and this time I'll just try and correct it. Okay, there. Good boy. And around. Okay, let's try a change of direction. But keep forward and pick your shoulders up. Good boy. Keep your shoulders up. Now, if I work around and do this exercise a bit, okay, I'm not going to do it for too long, and then I ride over here, and then I say, good boy, Stanley, they were some great, great circles. Really well done. What do you think he's thinking now? I'll tell you what I think he's thinking. He's gone out there and he's done some work, and he's been made to be nice and correct, do some nice serpentines, some nice circles, and he's sort of, it's quite a bit of work. Now I'm standing here. This is that place I hated. But you know what? I think I prefer this place. I think I prefer this corner to over there. This guy seems to know what he's talking about. I thought it was a bad place, but he brought me here, and actually, it's not so bad. So maybe I can trust where this guy is going to take me. And that's what I'm looking for. Okay, does that all make sense? Okay, does anyone want to ask a quick question about those exercises to start with? Or have I done an amazing job explaining myself? Okay, we'll just say that I have.